Don really took care of us. When going through houses, we decide this one's it. And he'd be like, actually zoom in on things. Like, I don't think this is actually what you want. Look at this, look at this. And we saw things that we didn't initially see. And it was actually his idea to look at the house that we bought. We were looking at a previous house and thinking, ooh, this is it. And Don said, no, this is actually not what you want. But in the same neighborhood, there's this house. We looked at it, we're like, that's it.
I'm Josh Day. This is my wife, Micah, and we bought a house with Don and Cyndi Shurts. So we were moving across country from California to Ohio, and our realtor worked with Keller Williams out in California and connected us with the branch out here. And that's how we got connected with Don and Cyndi. So our goal was to sell our house out in California and buy a house here. We had some extra circumstances of it being towards the end of 2020 with COVID. We're really appreciative of everything Don and Cyndi did during that time, making it a seamless process.
This was our second time buying a house. And before, it seemed as though it was all up to us. They weren't really helping us pick the right house. They were just the facilitator. It was all the decision making was up to us. They didn't offer much advice or offer up knowledge. And with Don and Cyndi, we were moving across the country and we were buying the house without ever seeing it.
They did a lot to help us being geographically separated. Don would video, Zoom call us, FaceTime us through all the visits of the different houses. They sat down with us in the beginning to get our ideas of what we needed from our house and what kind of neighborhoods we were looking at, what kind of schools, all the important information and things that we needed and were interested in. We would look through our own kind of listings and see what was interesting to us, and we provided those as kind of a baseline. But then Don and Cyndi went and did more research and kept providing us with more and more listings of potential options and going out and visiting them. And then once we had decided on this house and put in an offer, Don was really good with the offer and working with the realtor and making sure that our offer was top of the list. And then once it was accepted, we didn't know whether or not I was going to be in town for signing the paperwork. So they worked with us to make sure that we had all the permissions and everything in line in the case that I wasn't available, that Micah would be able to sign all the paperwork. Just took us through step by step for a good result.
There was also another part when we were buying the house. We were supposed to have an open house the next day. And it was Don's idea to say, we'll put this offer contingent on them canceling the open house. Because had that happened, the price probably would have gone up and we wouldn't have had as great a deal. There's one more. Don was great. When we got here, we were moving from California and really didn't have much wiggle room in between. And then our house in California was taking much longer to close. And we couldn't buy this house until that house closed. So we were displaced for a little bit. And Don worked with the sellers and convinced them to let us move into the house. And we lived here for, I think, 6 or 7 days before it closed. It was such a blessing. We would have had to live in a hotel for a week otherwise.
It's the best decision that they could make. Don and Cyndi are probably the best real estate agents we've ever worked with, both buying and selling houses, and they'll get you the result that you want.
They were just so great at holding our hand through the whole situation. I just can't express enough how much they took care of us. Don, he did everything above and beyond what any other real estate agent would have done.